The Hartley Show is an entertainment program and does not own any of the copyrighted material featured in this episode. All copyrighted material featured will be used as fair use for purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, and/or research. Taki.
Captain America wearing Wonder Woman pants. Wonder Woman wearing Captain America condoms. I just don't know this. Today on The Hartley Show, I'm going to be talking about action figures. Or as I like to refer to them, wait for it, toys. I mean, seriously, the Star Spangled Crap. Batman wouldn't wear Superman's underwear. What the hell is going on with this world? Stupid Charger. So back when I was growing up in the 70s, action figures for superheroes sucked. What you had was basically things like this, Mego figures. Now these particular Mego figures are more modern style Mego figures, where they actually kind of look like the characters they represent, and they actually have cool little uniforms. Originally the concept behind a Mego was sort of a stock figure, and they had these cool little, well, I called it cool, but they weren't really cool, these little outfits on. And the reason I say they're not cool was you had characters, for instance, like Conan. They had a Conan toy who actually had like a cloth skin outfit. Cloth skin, what the? They had a Thing figure who had the Rock hand sculpted, but his body was a rock skin suit. These things were lame. They didn't have much articulation. They weren't very durable, and they were kind of stupidly kitschy. Every now and then there'd be sort of a cool toy, but they were all kind of crap. Eventually, at some point in the 80s, they moved on to these superpower style figures, and this is a modern interpretation of this far, far cooler than we had back in the day. They were also absolute bunk. They had stupid shticks like you could squeeze their legs together and their arms did dumb crap like this. And then came the 90s. Now, the beginning of the 90s in action figures, you had things like this. These absolutely horrible Todd McFarlane bunk Youngblood figures. I think these are actually made out of metal for whatever reason. Look at that. Amazingly detailed and posable. They're not amazingly detailed. Are they posable? They look just like a chunk of crap. But along came Todd McFarlane, and he had this idea that you can actually infuse a certain level of quality in the action figures. Now, McFarlane with McFarlane Toys, you see here, The Walking Dead, he's come a long way from the world of this to this. Hey. So McFarlane Toys changed the game. They took the toy industry, the action figure industry, from a world of low detail, low articulation to high detail stuff. They went through a strange little phase where their figures, they got rid of all the mobility and they were more statuesque, where they would only be able to, like, say, maybe shift a leg or shift an arm. But they've gotten back to the world of mobility. They now do the Walking Dead toys, highly detailed, super articulate, or fairly articulate. They've got a whole line of action figures that are based off of sports figures right across the board: hockey, basketball, football, the whole nine. They've got celebrity figures like Janis Joplin and the like. And then, of course, it's like I was saying, it's opened up the world of action figures to more stylized figures. You've got figures that are taken from the Batman animated series that look like their counterparts from the animated series. You've got characters taken from the comics, so you've got the modern day interpretation of the Red Hood. You've got the Jay Lee take on Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. You've got characters from video games, Injustice. You've got figures pop vinyl. You've got cartoon figures from the Justice League cartoons. And this really goes on and on and on. Pop vinyl, plush. Really, if you're a fan of action figures, now is a good time. There's pretty much something for everybody out there. So the question now is, loose or not loose? Some people like to leave figures in the box and keep them that way forever and ever and ever. Some people like to open them up and play with them, like this guy right here. Now, of course, some figures aren't available in the original packaging, and there is this whole phenomenon towards loose figures getting slabbed, just like comic books. Obviously, if it's in the original packaging, it's always going to be worth more. But like I say, in some cases, there aren't any figures in the original packaging, or there's barely any of them, i.e. the original Star Wars figures. You know, I mean, there's a lot of argument either way. I understand, sort of, why people will leave them in the package, because that way they maintain their value. Personally, I've never, ever bought an action figure, or a toy as I like to call it, and left in the package. I'm going to take that thing out and smash its head on something and bash it around and throw it across the room and, you know, stuff like that. SNL did a great skit on this recently. I'll let it speak for me.
New action figures and playsets for ages 6 and up.
Way up!
I'm gonna get you in my lightsaber.
Or leave it in the box!
Stormtroopers, attack!
Or leave them in the box to never touch them.
Time to suit up.
Or just look at him. Radical.
I have 3 of each. 1 to display, 1 to open, and 1 just in case.
Why?
Ding 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 ding.
Punching a dick. Oh, Batman, I'm sorry about that. Let's make it. So there you have it, action figures. As always, a giant thanks to Taz for letting us film here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Oh, Batman, I want to make out with you. I'm sorry about that.